Alright, welcome back everyone. Today I'm just gonna go over some of the things I showed you in this ARPG prototype thing. Because a lot of people, I got so many PMs and private messages on Discord. Please, if you have questions, just put them in the comment below here on YouTube or post them in the channel on Discord. So much easier. Also, I'm sure if you have a question, a lot of people or other people have the same question, and then we can always look it up. Anyway, I'll just quickly go over doing something similar here and how I did it. So I prepared a empty Unity project here. I got malbers animations installed this time because we might expand it to malbers with some how we can use that. I got Game Creator 2 installed. Welcome. And then I took the polygon assets spy because they have this nice spy, and I was thinking, yeah, we could actually just use that, right? So the idea is we have a spy and we have a pistol, which is what we want. What else did we install? I installed this animation set called Pistol Animation Set Pro, and I deleted some of the folders because it's made for Playmaker, I believe. And I think that's it. Of course, we installed all the Unity necessities, like the new input system and PostFX, which we're not going to use. It's just a habit, and Cinemachine, because I'll be using some of the functions from Cinemachine. So first thing in project, we want to go into project, player, and I want to use, where is it? Active input, only use the new, apply. Get a quick restart of the editor. The reason I'm switching completely is because I've seen several times I had issues where if I use both, I run into what do you call it? Issues where we're getting interference from either one or the other. So earlier this year, I decided either we go completely old system or completely new. This both setup is not really working out in some cases, so today completely new setup only. Okay, let's get started. So let's create somewhere for the guy to walk on. So we get a plane, let's make it a 10. Let's just quickly create a material, call it ground, pull it on, give it some color. There we go. Color, but still dark, right? Hit save. I'm going to delete the main camera. I'm gonna hit Game Creator, Characters, New Player. Yes. Under Animation, I'm gonna find my 3D model. Oh, there's two. Why is there two? Bow tie, necktie. Okay. Don't really matter. We also need to create a skeleton because you can see the colliders are lit off, or bones if you want. So right click, Game Creator, Characters, Skeleton, Cincy Skeleton, because it's a Cincy character. We got everything up here. Looks good. Going back to my player, and I'm gonna drag the skeleton on. Oh, it failed. I think something has changed because not long ago I was pretty sure I could just drag and drop a character onto the skeleton. This is new to me. It looks like this. okay. Let's just retry that. Game creator, character, skeleton, enter skeleton. This guy, change. Okay, that's better. Yes, much better. There's still something with the left hand, but that's fine for now. Check the player. So we're going to change the player controller to point and click motion. We're gonna leave. Character controller should be navmesh agent. Yeah, let's go navmesh, because then we can click and he can move the pivot. Delayed, because we want a little delay of 0.1 on the rotation. Animation, yeah, it's fine. Hit save, and because we need well, to have a navmesh, let's go to AI navigation. Bake, make sure we select the plane. Need to make that static. There we go. Bake, good. Just gonna move the camera to a more desired location, and we're gonna hit game creator, cameras, new main camera, game creator, cameras, camera shot. Follow target, align with view. There we go. This is the main shot. Main camera is tagged as main camera. Hit save, test. Let's see where we are. It's working. Good. Just gonna pull in one more package. My assets. Let's go to polygon. What's it called? Particle effects. Import. The reason we're importing this is because they have some nice effects. In the last video you saw me using this crystal spell, the lightning, things like that. These are from this asset. So the reason for this one is if we go in here, prefabs, text, I think there's one called dust. Nope. Nope. It might be called impact. Impact dirt. There we go. So on the player, on the point and click, impact dirt. Also on the camera shot. Let's make the Y value to 6 and -9 to adjust the distance. Good. It's just so maybe -6 and 7. So 7 -6 is better. Save. There we go. So that's done. Now I want to add the pistol to my guy. It's not much. Let's see. That's also the wrong asset we're looking at. So it's this one called Polygon Spy. We got weapons. So we have the pistol. I'm just gonna drop it here for now. Unfold my player, mannequin, character, root, hips, spine, spine 2, spine 3, right shoulder, elbow, hand. There we go. Gonna move the pistol in there. I'm gonna unpack it completely. Going to zero it out. Roughly rotate fine adjust here, minus 90, 90, there we go. Then place, F. There we go, something like that. Let's see if there's a muzzle. There is not, so I'm going to right click the pistol, create an empty, call it muzzle, place it in front of the barrel. This is where we'll be spawning the projectile. Good. Gonna duplicate the pistol and place it on the hip. 0. Rotate it like this. Now he wouldn't normally not carry his gun like this, he'd probably have it in his pocket. We could do that, we could make it so it looks like it's sticking out. So now we can see it's inside. And we can just see the handles. Let's rotate. Put it like this. Want to make sure it's not clipping through his clothes, so we could just do something like this. Let's remove the silencer, trigger, leave the mag in. Basically, we only need the rear of the pistol. Just a indicator that it's there, right? He's not very good at hiding. Let's put it like that. Pistol in pocket, pistol in hand. I'm gonna deactivate that. Deactivate that. There we go. Now I want to add a aiming animation, so once you right click, the animation will show him aiming with this pistol. So I'm gonna click on the mannequin. I need to find the animation controller. It's right here. So we have this one called Complete Locomotion from Game Maker. I'm just gonna move it into the root. Call it my animator. Open it. We're going to add a new blend layer. Pistol 8. Let's just call it agent. Just hitting save for good order animations. So this pistol animation pro animation set is really nice. It has a lot of animations. So, but what we're really looking for is aiming. Oh, there we go. You can see aiming. So let's just unfold that. It's called pistol idle. This we want. Also, is there anything else we could use? Shoot once, possible. Shoot once. There's one called shoot powerful. What's that? Oh. Ah, not for this weapon. Just trying to remember, do I do it from entry? Because I'm pretty sure empty entry I just throw into an empty like this, because I don't really want that, and just use any state. 2 seconds. I will just verify. confirmed. This is how I normally do it. Empty. Yeah, don't care. We're doing it from the any state. So we have idle and pistol shoot once. We have to remember the layer number, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3. We're working on layer 3. We need to add some parameters to trigger these states. I'm using triggers, so pistol, let's just call it aim. And let's call this one shoot. On the shoot, going to add a condition to enter, and that's going to be the shoot trigger. Going to add the timer to 0 or change it, because this happens instantly when you press. Aiming condition would be trigger the aim. Very short transition. You want to go fast here. Yes. Good. Also, uncheck exit time, uncheck exit time. Finally, I need to check if there is any events on these. So pistol idle on the parent itself. Events, and then it's all the way up here. There's no events, and we also took, it's called shoot once. No events. Sometimes people, they add events here on the assets themselves, which is really annoying. Then I need to remove them. Of course, if you're using events, that's nice to have them, but I like to add my own if I ever use these. Okay, so we have a character with some new animations we need to trigger somehow. We have our new input system we're using. So if we add a UI image, get the event system, you can see it's complaining, and then it says we have this one. So I'm just gonna copy the default inputs by Control C, going to the root, Control V, call it my new inputs. Open it. New action, aim. There we go. Going to use pass through button, mouse, right button, mouse and keyboard, check. We already have one that's called fire. I'm just checking if that's left mouse. It is. What else do we need? Don't need anything else at the moment. Hit save, close. Under the player itself, I'm going to add a empty game object, and I'm gonna call it my controller, because we're going to add some controls on top of the game creator controls, of course. I'm going to add another child to that, and I'm gonna call that stop move. For this, I'm going to add a game creator trigger, because today we are game creator focused. And this is going to be triggered by, sorry, not on invoke, but on enable. Move. Stop move, player, yes. Is controllable. Player, no. So basically we are, the idea is we hit aim, then we enable this, which stops the player in case he's moving, and then you cannot control. I'm not sure if there's one called can move. Change movement speed, changes the maximum movement speed over time. Just opening it here to see. Because controllable is actually not the right one to use, because he's still controllable. You want to be able to turn and things like that. But you want to set the player speed to 0. So move speed would actually be better. So let's try that. We can always change it. We set it to 0. Duration, well, keep it like that. So once we release the mouse, can move. We don't want to stop, and we want to set move speed to 4. So both of these are disabled by default. Good. Now we get to let's say the more interesting part. So I'm just gonna create a script here. Call it my add-on controls. Just moving some windows around here. This is not the one I wanted to. Oh yes, it is the one I wanted to open. Okay. So some of the things we need to think about. What are we going to be using? We're going to be using the new Unity engine input system. We might be using, well, we will be using Unity engine events. We will be using Unity engine animations. And normally you would serialize all of these and make them private. Today we're just going to do this public animator. This animator public. We need the animator to be able to adjust or trigger the animations. I also need a reference to the camera to be able to see where the mouse is pointing when I want to shoot. I'm going to call it main cam. We want a reference to the player input system. Player input. We want a delay on the pistol. Public float shoot speed. We know 1F. We want to control if shooting is possible. Bool can shoot. Let's just think. We also need a reference to where do we want the bullet to spawn. Public game object bullet prefab bullet. What else do we need? Events. Public Unity event on aim actions. Oh. Public Unity event on stop aim actions. That's where we enable and disable some things. In reference to the pistol, well, let's just header references. Header weapon header more stuff. Public float pistol damage. This I want to reference because we want to change it over time in case maybe, let's say you upgrade your weapon, do more damage. So this is base damage. Player base damage 20. We also want a reference to the layer mask. Public layer mask layer mask. And the layer mask is when we recast for the mouse, we want to make sure we hit the layer. I want a reference to what is the enemy tag tag field from Cinemachine. It added it on itself up here, that's nice. Public string enemy tag. There we go. I think that's pretty much the basics of what we need to just get started. So let's start with a start. No. Start. Main cam dim equals camera dot main. What else can we get? The animator is that's placed on this one. Okay. So we can actually grab that as well. So this animator equal game this game object transform parent get component in children animator. Oh, go. The input system we have to add ourselves. I'm not sure we can get that in layer mask. We select in the editor. Good. I'm not sure if there is any bullets in here. No. No. Bomb, briefcase, cash, cigarettes, diamond, drink, drone, flash, suction cup. Okay, that's fine. We'll make a bullet. Right click, game object, sphere. How big is that going to be? 0.1. Phew, that's even big. 0.05. It's big, but that's fine. We want to be able to see it. Let's add some trail. We have to remember we're just playing here, right? I think there's a trail in here somewhere. That's too much. I think this is good because it's just for display purpose, so pew, right? Yeah. Prefab, unpack completely. Go to root, delete the search, bullet. So the bullet itself is a spear, but it's also a trigger, and we want a rigid body on it. Do not use gravity, everything is fine. Make that into a prefab. There we go. While it's a prefab now, zero it out. There we go. My controller. Let's add my new script here. Player input is this one. My new input. Hang on. Hang on. 1 second. Player input. Okay, fine. Player input. Guess we need to reference this. Asset, it actually comes with the new input system. The reason I'm adding it on the event system, it just seems like the most sensible place because we're already working here, right? It's using send messages right now, which is fine. Let's try that again. Oh, my controller. Here we go. Yes, good. Animator, it's getting layer mask. What layers are we shooting at? Default, enemy. Yes, enemy tag, that would be... By default, we only have respawn. All these extras are added by malbers because we plan to do something later with that. So let's just add respawn as the default. Shoot speed is the time between shots you can do. Can shoot by default enabled. Bullet prefab, it's this one. It needs to have a script. Our base damage is this. When we start aiming, stop movement, game object set active to true, and can move, game object set active to false. Copy, paste, reverse, save. Okay. Oh, we forgot. We haven't played tested for a while. Just make sure there's no serious errors or anything. It's all good still. Now we can start working on some of the more interesting. Oh, we forgot to see if it actually got the systems. Let's just check. It does. Good. So the main camera and the array I was talking about is more when we want to click and do something. But it's also important if we want to... you saw in the other video I was aiming the fireball at somebody's feet, and then he said, this is done with raycasting. So let's start working on our update loop. So inside our update loop, we want to check for when you are pressing right click. So if player input actions, no, actions, I think we called it aim. We might need to correct if it's wrong. Is pressed, thank you. And this is function, there we go. That means now we are aiming and we want to activate the animation layer. If we go to the animator, layers, didn't we change this? Pretty sure we did. Oh, we didn't. We created it, but we never added it here. There we go. So we need to work on layer 3 in this case. So I need to reference my animator. This animator set layer weight layer number 3 to 1F. That means it's fully activated now. Then I also want to specify which animation do I want to show from this animation. I'm actually thinking we made a small... It's not a mistake, but it's something that can cause an issue. So when we're doing an update, it will try to switch to the layer every single time, every frame basically, to aim, because our parameter is a trigger. So actually I'm going to delete this aim. I'm going to create a new bool instead and call this aim. And I'm just gonna make sure, yes, aim true, then we go here. Good. We go back here, then we want to set aim to true. This animator set bool set bool aim to true. That means if we right click, now we aim. But we also want to be sure that we can stop the right click. So if player input actions, Jesus, player input actions, aim was released this frame, meaning did you let go of mouse now? Then we set this animator set bool aim to false. Stop playing this animation. This animator set layer weight 3 to 0. stop showing this animation layer. Okay, that should be good enough. Good enough for testing at least. Hit play. It works. So you can see it's like instant. That's fine. We can adjust that, right? That's not a concern right now. That's fine-tuning. That's when we talk about having a polished, finished product, and you work on these things like, oh, we don't want this to be instant. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. We want it to be smooth. Now we want to make sure we can actually see the gun. So that's something we forgot. We forgot to reference the public game object, pistol in pocket, pistol in hand. There we go. Save. So when the pistol is when you're aiming, pistol is in hand. When you're not aiming, pistol is in pocket. Let's just do something a bit smarter. Pistol aiming. Bool true. Aiming. If aiming. Then we take pistol in pocket, set active false, pistol in hands, set active true. Else switch these around. There we go. Then we call it up here, pistol aiming, true, pistol aiming, false. Test that. Just need to remember to put the game objects into the inspector reference, right? So click the my controller, unfold, pistol in hand into the pistol in hand, pistol in pocket instead. So pistol in pocket we can just enable now by default. Play. There we go. Pistol is out. Oh, one thing you might have noticed, you can see the Cincy characters, they are almost transparent in some of these. Where you can see like seams of his clothes. That's actually a quite easy fix. On the light we just set all beers to 0. Again, that's polishing. It's not something we should worry about here. You can see the shadow is better now. Good. It's save. One thing we also need to reference is the muzzle. We didn't do that. Pistol muzzle. Usually you would do this in a scriptable object that is added to the weapon, because then you can change the weapons. You also want to add a weapon damage depending on what weapon you have, then you change the damage values. Again, that should be a scriptable object, not something we hard code. Basically what we're doing now is we are hard coding. There we go, muzzle referenced. And now we want to get the weapon to fire. So, while we're aiming up here, not releasing, expand that a bit. If I need to see what is the shoot actually called in my inputs. It's called fire. If player input actions fire is pressed and from the bool up here, can shoot. Then we will shoot the weapon. Oh, we need to make sure to add the parentheses for this function. There we go. So now we are actually detecting it. We are aiming. While we are aiming, we can then fire. That means no hip firing. We want to raycast, so we want to raycast towards the mouse pointer. So let's create a new ray. Give it a name. Oh, it's actually suggesting a name for me, but let's call this a aim ray. And we want to, from our camera, which is referenced up here, main cam, screen point to ray. Where is it? Oh, it's the first one. And to the mouse. And you have to remember we're using the new input system now. Why is it mouse current position dot read value? So we read the coordinates from the mouse. So now we are actually just drawing a line from the camera, center of camera, to the mouse. Now we actually perform the action with physics. Raycast aim ray from above. So here we are just preparing it. Here we are doing it. Right? Does it make sense? I hope. Where should it put this data we are storing? Out raycast hit information. Let's call it a target information to make it more transparent. Distance. How far should this ray be? Well, we're just going to put max value because that's what you can see as a player. And what layer should we be detecting on? So this is why we have the layer mask reference. Layer mask. There we go. So now we're actually doing it when you left click. Next thing we want to do is I want to disable can shoot so you can't spam click. That means once you click, you can only click once. But at the same time, I also want to make sure we enable this again. So when I disable shooting, remember we had this shoot speed delay up here. I'm going to create a new IE numerator shoot delay yield what's it called, return new wait for seconds. What did we call this time? Shoot speed can shoot true. Take this function and go up to can shoot, and then we start coroutine this. There we go. So what happens is we say now you cannot shoot anymore. Let's start a counter that counts this time 1 second really down here. So it just waits for this time we are set in the inspector, and then it changes the bool to true, which allows us to shoot again. So right now we are able to shoot at 1 bullet per second. What else do we want to do? We want to instantiate our bullet. Did we actually reference the bullet? Oh yeah, prefab bullet. Wonder why we didn't put it up here. And why are these not down? Anyway. Okay, this pisses me off. So let's just move these down here to this. We might have to reassign them in the inspector, that's fine. Okay, so to instantiate the bullet we want to type game object new bullet equals instantiate prefab bullet at Pistol. Oh, pistol muzzle, not pistol. Pistol. Dot transform. There we go. The reason we want to do it like this is because we want to update a bullet with information from the player. Update bullet with information from the player. Of course, we can't do this now because the scripts for the bullet don't exist, and we need to store some data with the bullet every time we fire a bullet. Cool. Let's quickly jump into the inspector. Just to make sure the things are still assigned. So we have pistol in hand, pistol muzzle got lost. It's fine. It's here. Bullet prefab is right there. Good. So that all looks good. However, if we well, we can try, but the bullets will not work. But we can see the things should be, you can see. So it's spawning the bullet right in front of the pistol, and it's just hanging there because it's still a child. So if you can see the bullets are hanging there. So that we need to sort. Best way to sort this is to create a new script. Ammunition script. In this script we want to be using, we don't need anything special up here. Sometimes I will be using Cinemachine to get the tag reference, but we can just do a public string target tag. This information will be transferred from the player. What else do we need? We need a public float bullet speed equals 10f, public float bullet damage 10f. We need a rigid body B, and we need a parent storage. That's for laser because we want to pool these bullets so we reuse them. Right now we will just destroy them or deactivate them. The best is to actually just reuse them as in a pool. So we'll save that for later. Public game object original parent. What else is needed? Public impact fx. There we go. And of course sound, but we're not using that right now. So let's awake RB limit equals get component. Yes, it's good. So when the bullet is awakened, on enable, transform set parent null. That means when we shoot, enable the bullet, the parent is null. That means it will not be stuck to the muzzle anymore. Then we want to set the velocity, actually make the bullet move. So RB for rigid body. Oh, it's actually suggesting velocity. Oh, we don't want vector 3. We want transform forward times projectile speed, bullet speed. And then we want to make sure it doesn't continue forever. We want to give it a lifetime. So let's just add a float, public float bullet lifetime equal 10f 10 seconds. Yes. IE numerator bullet life yield. There we go. And then we want to disable itself once it has reached its end of life, so it just continues. So we want to start this as soon as it is enabled. Start coroutine this. There we go. So now we got that pretty much covered. Now we can shoot. The bullet should fly and disable itself after a while. So let's just click our bullet, attach the ammunition script, and we don't need to do anything. Let's check. Yeah, so you can see when I click, he actually starts moving again. It's hard to see. Something we need to deal with. So if we add a cube for reference, I hit play, and I left click. You can see he starts moving in reference. Yeah. So temporary to fix this move speed is not working. So is controllable. Let's use that. No. There we go. Now he shouldn't move. He still moved. Oh! Notice that we didn't enable it. Because once this is enabled... let's check. It's most likely because we updated the script so many times. Stop move, set active. We never called this action, so let's just fix that immediately. So on aim, we want to stop the player. On aim actions invoke. There we go. The same when we release. That's called on stop aim. On stop aim actions invoke. There we go. I'm sure somebody is screaming at this monitor for a long time now. Oh, you forgot this. Yeah, now it's working. You can see we can still not rotate once we're aiming. But one thing I can see is we fire the bullets and they are slowly disabled. That's ideal. Eventually we want to make a pool, so we'll recycle the bullets. Won't be today. Now we want to transfer the data to the bullet, which is really important. So we have our ammunition script here. Let's just move that over here so we can see it on the side. And some of the data we want to transfer onto this bullet is... are we setting a bullet speed here? No, we're not. But we're setting a base damage. And on the bullet itself, we can see we have the bullet damage. Normally this is a private and you cannot change it like this. So we're going to pretend as well here. So we're going to make a function to update this public void update bullet. So instead of creating one for each of these, I'm just going to add them all into one. So initially, first thing we want to update is the target tag. So string tag value. Next thing we want to update is bullet speed. That's a float speed, float damage, float time. Okay. But also I want to take into consider, maybe not always I want to use all of them. Sometimes I might only want to update one of these. So default tag value is enemy. That means if nothing is entered. Default speed is bullet speed. So we're just going to reference the inspector from above, which it is not happy about. Let's put 10F. damage 10F, time 10F. There we go. And now we just reference these to these values. So target tag equal tag value, bullet speed equals speed, bullet damage equals damage, bullet life time equals time. There we go. Save. So now we can just stick that back in there. And this one we called update bullet. So back here when we instantiate the bullet, I'm going to say new bullet get component, script name up here, ammunition script, update bullet, and here we go. You can see we can add these values. So of course we want to add our enemy tag, which we get from the player. You can see it's this one, enemy tag. Do we want to update speed? No. 10. Damage is really important. So we have this player base damage. So this we want to add player base damage. And that's it. That's what we want to do. So we did use 3 out of 10, 4, right? So we have 4 options here. We only use 3. Save. Save. Okay. Let's quickly make a test. Respawn. We got that from the player. Yes. And we changed the bullet damage to 20. Nice. So that is working. Of course, normally you would add some calculations to adjust everything. One thing I forgot to add was the original parent. You noticed we created this, and that's for pooling later. I want to have store it somewhere. So on the ammunition script, you can see you have original parent. We could just add that up here as well. I want to do that as the first one, so game object my parent. Original parent, my parent. There we go. If nothing is added, use this. Use itself. No? No? It's not happy about that. Fine. In here, where we instantiate, I want to add the muzzle as a parent right now. Pistol, muzzle. One final thing, I want to aim, make sure I shoot where I am. You can see when I shoot, the bullets just go straight into the air. We need to adjust the angle up and down of the weapon as well. Otherwise we just shoot horizontal. So a quick way is to adjust the pistol muzzle. It's not something the player would see, but it's actually something that makes a huge difference. So that's actually why we also did all of these rays. We created it, but we never used it. Look at this target information. It's unused. That's why it has this tint in the blue. Let's quickly fix that. Pistol muzzle transform. Look at and then we call target information. I think it's point. Yes, there we go. this is actually pointing at the point where we're aiming with the mouse. So now we should be able to hit anywhere on this box we want. So you can see I can shoot crooked now. But you can see we can shoot to the corner, we can shoot to that corner. Now we just need to adjust the player rotation as that's for later. That's fine tuning. Now it's working. Let's just make this cube an enemy. Oh, respawn we call them. Let's quickly create a health script. Enemy health. There we go. Public float health equals 10. Public float start health. What else is needed on this health script? I think that's fine for now. We could add all sorts of events when things happen. The reason I add 2 health is because this one is to control the current health and this one is to what this is starting with when we start. So let's just actually we want to do a lot of things when we start, so let's just create a void called new start health equal start health. That's one of the things we want to do. When do we want to call these? Actually on start, new start. Also we want to do it on enable, new start. We want to be able to adjust the health. Public void receive damage, and the damage we are receiving is a float input damage. Actually we could call this update health, because imagine you want to heal, then it's not really a damage, then it's a heal. So let's call it float value change. There we go. Then we take our current health plus equal value change. There we go. Then this number will be added or minus to this number up here. That's basically all we need to do. So let's just change this to 100 instead, because the player is doing 20 damage or something, right? On the ammunition, we need something because we're using trigger. Detect when are we actually hitting something. On trigger, enter when is the bullet hitting something. Other game object tag equals stop. If this bullet hits other game object and the tag is equal to target tag, then we want to do something. We want to check if it's possible to get the script if enemy other game object get component enemy health like this. That means if we can get the component, that means this exists. That means if it doesn't exist, nothing will happen. It just continues. Then we want to take the same other game object, get component enemy health. No, we don't want to add the health because that should be private. Update health input bullet damage. Bullet damage. There we go. What else should happen? It should, well, we should maybe do it down here instead, not up here. Game objects active false. There we go. disable itself or destroy itself depending on your type of game, right? So now we should see the box take damage. So if we look at the cube, we take the enemy health and attach, you can see it has 100. Then we can always add some fancy UI later. Keep an eye on this one over here when we shoot. 120. So this is healing bullets, as you can see. Because in our script, where did the script go? In our ammunition script, remember, on the health we're just updating. So we need to make sure the bullet damage we're implying is negative damage. So I'm just going to add a minus in front of update health. And then we should be able to do something to this box. Good, it works. On the bullet we added one called impact FX. That's for these. So let's just see explosion. That's a bit impact. Impact stone seems reasonable. Add that to here, and then back in our script we want to instantiate this FX. So just like when we created a bullet, we create a new game object here. FX impact equals instantiate impact FX at its own location. There we go. And before we do that, we actually need one more thing, which is quite important. So let's take this impact stone, copy, paste it in the root, and we're going to use this instead. Going to create another short script called timeout stuff. This is really simple. Public to disable it. Public float timeout value equals 3 seconds. I enumerator timeout this yield return new wait there we go game destroy game object, there we go, start, oh, you don't know start suddenly anymore. What the heck? Void on start. That's weird. Start coroutine timeout this. And this we will add to the FX, so it will actually disappear again, otherwise we will just get stuff added all the time. So it's just script added to the FX itself. Just make sure on the bullet it is actually the correct one we have. Good. So you can see we're instantiating something, but that's only the bullets themselves. For some reason this is not... Oh. Of course. Let's get rid of that. Ammunition. Oh, one more thing we need for the box. Once we're doing damage change, we need to check for value. Void check HP. Now, if health is less or equal to 0, game object. Just going to deactivate it for now. So that means it's dead. So we can actually kill it. Also the ammunition script instantiate. Where did we instantiate? If it has health, we do the damage. That works. Instantiate. Let's just instantiate like this now. We are instantiating at where the bullet's current location is. Should be fine. There's probably something obvious I'm missing. Box destroyed. Cool. That was 1 hour, 10, 12. Well, I hope you learned something, got some ideas about adding your own stuff. You don't need to have all sorts of fancy stuff. Next time I think we'll continue this series a bit. Of course I'll be getting this FX working, and next time let's add some enemies and fix this rotation issue so the guy actually rotates correctly. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Remember, all questions go to Discord or here in the YouTube comments. Thank you. Bye bye.